Merry Christmas, or as we say in Punjab, Yesu di Balle Balle. I'm Ruchika M. Khanna and you're watching Decode Punjab, the digital show from the Tribune. Today, I'm joined by my colleague Rajmeet Singh as we discuss the changing landscape of Christianity in Punjab. Rajmeet ji, what are the different streams of churches that exist in Punjab as of day?
First of all, a very Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
There are two basically main streams of churches in Punjab. One is Catholic, the other is Pentecostal churches. The Pentecostal churches are basically Protestant Christian movement that believes in, Holy Spirit work and direct expression of God.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, who are the most popular pastors in Punjab, and why is it and how is it that they're becoming such a big internet sensation?
The number of popular pastors is growing every day, but I can name a few who have been, sensation on very popular on the social media platforms. One is Birjinder Singh. He's from Kurali based. Then one is Ankur Nurullah. He's from Jalandhar. Then one is Amrit Sandhu. He's from Namashar. He's one of the emerging centers of Pentecostal churches, people believing that faith. Then we have Sukhpal Rana, and then is one Gurnam Singh in the ASI of Punjab Police. They are from Ajnala. Then interestingly, there is one Kanchan Mittal from Banood. They are all non-Christians who have converted to Christian faith.
So it means that the names itself.
Yeah.
It reveals quite a lot about the changing. The changing religious landscape in Christianity. Exactly. They're all very Indian, very Punjabi names.
Yeah.
It's not like the earlier times where a person who converted to Christianity would take on a Christian name.
Yes.
So, do you think that the Punjabiization of Christianity, do you think this has helped spread the
I can give you an insight into this very particular pointed question you have asked. We had an opportunity to do a series in the Tribune on this growing spread of growing outreach of Pentecostal churches. I've been to different districts in Punjab. Last year we did a series, and what we saw is they have converted they have made the churches more like mandirs, Jehovah the Mandir, like they would call. Then they have no longer required to sit on the benches. You can sit on the floor, and then you will sing the religious hymns in praise of God, like in Sikh religion they are doing. So like tappe, boliyan. So they have made it so localized, so familiar that the transition of the community, basically the community which is affected by the caste division lines and the Dalits basically. So they have made it so smooth that a lot number of people are attracted towards them. Ruchika ji, I have a question to ask you. What are the oldest churches in Punjab?
So, Rajmeet ji, initially, when the Britishers were in power, so before independence, the Christian movement obviously had spread to places like Ludhiana, initially, Gurdaspur, Firozpur. These are the places where we had seen a lot of old churches, and these old churches still exist. So, but these old churches they follow the Roman Catholic order. But as we've just discussed, it's now the Pentecostal churches which are becoming very, very popular. It's quite unheard of, but this time from December 1st onwards, we've seen these processions, which they call the Shobha Yatra. Earlier, Shobha Yatras were for, for the Jagannath Shobha Yatra, or the Shobha Yatras would be for, the Guru's...
Prabhat Feris also.
Prabhat Feris, exactly. For the Guru's birth anniversaries.
Yeah.
These were very, very localized Sikh or Hindu traditions. Exactly. But now, Christianity has also adopted these traditions. The new Christianity in Punjab has adopted these traditions, and I'm surprised that even in places like Abohar, in places like Nakodar, there have been these Shobha Yatras by the Christians celebrating Christmas, and they are singing Punjabi hymns. For example, Jingle Bells becomes Jingle Balle Balle. So they are kind of resonating with the local population.
Urban, rural.
With the local population.
Yes. So, Ruchika ji, I have another question I want to ask you. Is Christianity becoming one of the major festivals of Punjab? What do you have to say on that?
Yes, considering the amount of people, the number of people who've been involved in these Shobha Yatras, it's becoming as big a festival as any other festival. Punjabis by nature have been very, very accommodating of the other religions. So I think this is one of the best parts of Punjab. People have been tolerant towards the other religions. Not tolerant, people celebrate the festivals together. It's a way of Punjabi life. So I think initially, if you remember, when we were children, we would, Christmas was basically just a children's festival where they would get a lot of goodies and, some storybooks or some little presents from their parents. But now, yes, I mean, with the kind of following that Christianity has, it's obviously becoming one of the big major festivals of Punjab. So, why are people mostly attracted to the Pentecostal churches, Rajmi?
Again,
it seems the following of the traditional Roman Catholic churches remains just about the same as it was earlier, but the following of these Pentecostal churches has been growing very rapidly. Why do you think this is happening?
They are, basically attracting people because, they are addressing the aspirations to live a good life. Like we saw a couple in Naya Gaon, they had given him money to construct a house and ration. During COVID, these Pentecostal churches did a lot of, work to provide ration to the families who were converted. Then they would send their children, promise them to send their children abroad for studies. So these are the factors in which the converts, the people who were converting, were feeling isolated in their communities. They were not being uplifted. So here they get a sense of, being cared. So that is one of the reasons that they are being largely attracted. And then they are, promising miracles to happen. It's a miracle waiting to happen for them. So that is, and their outreach on the social media is so much that basically they operate on the social media networks and YouTube and all. That is one of the reasons.
Yeah, in fact, you're right, because I was just watching the YouTube videos of the pastor Ankur,
yes.
Ankur Yosef Nirula, and he's got millions and millions of subscribers. Yeah. So since we're talking about the fact that they are attracting a lot of people, obviously they are a very big vote bank.
Yes.
So how's this vote bank managed by political parties in elections? We just saw in Gurdaspur,
yes.
The election, the by-election that was there. So I remember that how both the Aam Aadmi Party candidate who later won the election and the Gurdaspur MP, Sukhjinder Singh Randhawa, desperately tried to woo this vote bank, including reciting the Hallelujah. So how big is this vote bank? And how significant is it for the politicians?
It's enormous, it can't be measured, but it's growing every day. You talk of Malwa, you talk of Maja, you talk of Doaba. It is growing, and the political parties are certainly, winning over the pastors ahead of the elections. And you must be remembering there were some, some cases of investigation against some of the pastors, and the political parties just remained mum on them. They did not react on it. So you can well gauge that it's a very important vote bank now. Ruchika ji, I have a question now, taking a cue from your earlier question. Earlier, the influence of these churches was in Gurdaspur and Doaba. Now, it's gone beyond. How do you see this changing,
the religion and the religious leaders probably have to do a lot more than what they're doing to hold the people to their religion. If they're not able to emotionally and intellectually satisfy the followers, then people do go in for more scientific or other religions that would attract them more. So I think that is one of the reasons why we have seen the Christian population in Punjab grow rapidly, though it's not talked about much, but obviously the following has been growing. Since the following, we're talking about the growth in following, I'd like to ask you, what is the information you have on the kind of, on the source of funding, for for holding such massive festivals, for holding these Sunday congregations, which, you know, I mean, you move out of Chandigarh on any given Sunday, if you're going towards Jalandhar, you find that every few kilometers, you'll find a gathering of, you know, the believers. So where is the funding coming from?
Yes, such type of outreach program requires a lot of funding. What we have come to know, everybody is asking this question, like where is the funding coming? Like they are asking the, you know, the converts to give daswand, like in Sikh religion, you know, share a part of their earning. That's what they officially tell. But certainly it's being said it is coming from abroad. That is alleged. So we can't confirm it, but certainly it's one of the sources. It's because, you know, funding the ration of so many people, funding the education of so many people, then trying to send people abroad, children, like in Jalandhar, you know, there is academy, Ankur Nurullah has a center where, you know, they would enroll the students who want to go abroad, then they would be given classes, training for that specific course, then they would be taught about Christianity. So it's a twofold, you know, exercise which happens there.
So you're saying that they're mostly catering to the aspirations and to the economic needs of the people.
The lower section of the society are, like we mentioned, Dalits, who were oppressed, neglected by their communities. They are the major. And very interesting aspect is they are asking people not to change their appearance. They change their face, they still remain with Sikh name, or like I told you about the pastor Kanchan Metal. She's retained her name, but she is a pastor. So like that, the followers are, you know, if he's converted from Sikh religion, he would wear a turban.
So
but he would be doing...
So the appearance really rarely now distinguishes a person. Really distinguishes, you know, a Sikh from a Christian or a Hindu from a Christian.
The curtains of, you know, reluctance, which were around the religions, they have very smartly removed those curtains. Yet you come into, it's not a church, it's a mandir, Jehovah the mandir. No, then the Gurdwara, issue the mandir. And they will sit on floor and they do small satsangs, and they've converted local language and sayings, and you know that transition is so smooth that, you know, and you don't come to know whenever it's switched off.
On that note, I think it's a very good thing because we have one more festival to celebrate. Thank you, Rajmeet. On that note, we'd like to wish you all a very Merry Christmas. This is Ruchika Khanna, and you're watching the digital show of the Tribune along with Rajmeet Singh, The Decode Punjab.
Surga turun ke dunia, terangi seluruh bangsa. Sukacita keselamatan, kasih tak berkesudahan. Selamat Hari Natal, langit bumi bersuka. Selamat Tahun Baru, damai sejahtera bagimu. Surga turun ke dunia, terangi seluruh bangsa. Sukacita keselamatan, kasih tak berkesudahan. Selamat Hari Natal, langit bumi bersuka. Selamat Tahun Baru, damai sejahtera bagimu. Yang lama sudah berlalu, yang baru sudah datang. Selamat Hari Natal, langit bumi bersuka. Selamat Hari Natal, langit bumi bersuka. Selamat Tahun Baru, damai sejahtera bagimu. Yang lama sudah berlalu, yang baru sudah datang. Selamat Hari Natal, langit bumi bersuka. Selamat Tahun Baru, damai sejahtera bagimu. Selamat